one's for the firefighters. This one's for the firefighters. Firefighters.
Red Light Gamer here. So recently I was asked in my Discord, is ESO meant for casual players? Is it meant for new players? Do you have to be max level? Things like that. And I want to do a small video on my take on that. With all honesty, for me, I guess it would depend on what you want to do in the game. What's your goal? What do you like to do? What are your hobbies when you play? Are you a completionist? Are you PvP, PvE? Do you like group content, solo content? Everything there plays into if you should play the game or not, in my opinion. So I guess the first thing I'll cover is PvP. It is PvP for you? That's the first question. Now, there's a couple different types here. You got the open world, which is Cyrodiil, and you got the open world, which will be the Imperial City sewers and city like that. That you can go with a group of friends, go in there, have a good time, meet new people. But there's also a part of it where you can actually start to solo everything. What can you do to solo? You do the battlegrounds. This is one of these things. This is one of my favorite parts of the game. You can run in there, queue for it. You can go by yourself or with multiple people, and it'll be your team versus two other teams. So 4 versus 4 versus 4. Very easy to do, extremely fun if you like the PvP side. So for the battlegrounds, you have below level 50 and above level 50. If you didn't know, the max level in ESO is level 50, but you can actually build more points on top of that. So you can, the max champion point rank in the game is 3,600, but with your battlegrounds, you don't actually have to be 3,600 because no CP counts. It's just 100% based on your skill, how good you are, how good your team is, which is nice. But the problem you have with it as well is that people like to go for the death match instead of actually the theme of the match. What type of round is it? They don't like to do the mechanics of it. They just like to go around and just kill people, which is fine, but I actually try to win. That's one part of the PvP that you can be a casual, new players, as long as you don't get frustrated because you're getting killed. As long as you go in there and you're trying to learn, if you really love PvP, I think that's a big draw for people. People that like the PvP aspects, the open world, things like that. If you like that, so far for me, of all the MMOs I played, this is by far my favorite one. Just come in here, learn, get skilled up, have a good time. So this part, yes, this could be for casual. This could be for new players as well, as long as you're willing to put a little bit of time in there to learn. I guess the next part will be, for the casual or whatnot, will be the new card game, Tales of Tribute, that was just launched in the High Isle chapter. Now, it's one of these things, you can learn it just by pacing yourself, going against NPCs. There's a ton of NPCs in the game. You can go battle them and learn the system. And when you get better at it, you can do your ranked, I guess you can call it a PvP version of it, and the unranked. So if you like the card games, it's actually really fun to do. It's a little difficult at times, if you don't understand the concept. I do have a video I'll post right above here, which will be my first match I ever did. And I'll post another video on how to collect all the cards if you're interested in this. So this is really fun, casual, new, doesn't matter. Jump on, make sure you have the chapter, the new one. Make sure you go do the first quest, and then you can just go fun having this. I enjoy it. So you can meet a lot of interesting people. I've actually had a lot of feedback when I was doing this from other people, just whispering me saying, good match, that went a long time, things like that. So it's not like they're elitist and you lose or you win. And, the negative aspect is there, at times, because you're always going to give that no matter what MMO you play in, the toxic community, But so far, I have not had to deal with that, pretty much in ESO at all. And especially with Trials of Tribute, because we're all still learning it. So, it's one of these things you can pick up, just try to play it and have fun. So for the next part, it would be dungeons. Everybody's favorite, right? Yes, we do have a dungeon finder. You get put in a queue, and you can be a random one, the dungeon you want, whatever you want to do. Really nice, so you don't have to know people. And it's based on level to start. You get the easier ones and advance harder and harder and harder. You got it's so many different dungeons that you can do in this game. It's amazing. You have your regular dungeons, and then you have your vet dungeons on top of that. Now, the regular ones, you want to be anywhere from level 10 is when you first start, and up to level 160 CP, or that's your champion points. I would suggest that after you get to like 300 champion points, then you can start doing the veteran stuff. Some of them you can't do because it's just, too difficult for you at that level. But it's nice to know that you can just hit up a few of your friends, if you have them, and you can run whatever dungeon you want as long as you're leveled for it. So in that part of it, the dungeons are very fast, very casual in nature. The mechanics, for the most part, are the easy levels. You won't have to actually worry about the mechanics. When you get higher level, yeah, then you got to worry about the mechanics every fight. Or it's really nice, but at least for the most part, anybody I played with in a random dungeon, they were up to at least help me and explain to me how to do the fight. So that's a really nice aspect of it. The community is actually really good. Just tell them this is your first time here. You want to do the quest. Explain to me what I need to know, and they'll tell you exactly what you need to do. Actually, one of the coolest parts about doing your dungeon is if you do the dungeon for the first time and you complete the quest, you get 1 skill point automatically. So if you did all the dungeons and did all the quests, you'd have so many more skill points, you would not have to worry about collecting sky shards as often. Next, are you an altaholic like I am? This game is extremely alt friendly. If you look here, I got all my guys but one up to level 50. But the coolest part about it is when you get to level 50, like I said, you start collecting your champion points. The cool thing about collecting your champion points, that is shared account wide. So I always recommend make one character, stick with it until you get to 160, and then you can sit there and take those 160 champion points, make a new character, be at level 1 with your 160 champion points. So if you love alts, this game I believe there's 9 spots for your alts. I have my crafter, my PvE mains, my PvP guys. There's other ways around it. We can use a armor. That way you can just change all your gear with the click of a button and all your skills. But I enjoy making the alts. To me, it's really fun. This one character is designated for this one thing, and that's what I do. So if you love alts, this is definitely a new and casual player game for you. I guess next would be, do you like crafting? There's a lot of crafting on here. You got your alchemy, your blacksmithing, clothing, enchanting, jewelry, provisioning, and your woodworking. So you can level all these up extremely, extremely fast. I could sit there and give you all the level 160 gear that dropped in a dungeon for me, and you can break it all down to increase your skill levels in this. I mean, it is so easy to level. The thing that takes forever is your research. So in the game, you have different traits you can have on your gear. Those traits will be dependent on what you're doing with the game. Now, to level up, your first trait is like, I think 6 hours, something like that. If you don't have ESO Plus, I think your 9th trait for that one piece of armor is like 30 days research time, I believe. If you have ESO Plus, I think it's 20 days. I may be wrong. Sorry about it if I am. Please correct me in the comments if I am. But that's the only part that's not really, I guess you can say, new player friendly about it. But you can get everything researched in, gosh, a couple months, honestly. I'll say about 6 months, you can have everything 100% researched. You can make every single piece of armor that's craftable in the game. The nice thing is, I can make the armor for you. You give me the materials, you give me the gem that you wanted on there, and I'll just give it to you, and you have it. So that part is really nice. And I guess for the last part I'm going to cover would be, do you like to solo play? Do you want to run around the maps, have fun, don't worry about nobody else? You can do that. There are so many maps on this game. This game is monstrous. It'll take you an extremely long time to do every single quest. The best part is, 99% of the quests you can probably solo. You have your world bosses in every zone. You have your mini dungeons, which are single player with the boss at the end. You got your public dungeons, which has, you know, multiple bosses. World events, things like that. If you are really interested in just taking this as like a Elder Scrolls game, you can do that. Mind you, this is not a typical Elder Scrolls game. I cannot stress that enough. But it is extremely fun, extremely rewarding to play the game. So yes, if you want to solo play it, this game is 100% for the casual player. Well, I appreciate it, guys. I really hope this does help you, and hopefully you do decide to come over and play the game. At least try it out, because it's fairly inexpensive anyways. And there is no monthly sub. If I didn't say that, that's a huge thing for me. But if you decide to come on over, I am on PCNA. Go ahead, hit me up at Redline Gamer. I'll send you a guild invite. I'll help you level up whatever you need to do. The small guild we are in will be extremely happy to help you with anything you need. But please hit that subscribe, hit that like, leave a comment down below. It does help me grow this channel quite a bit. Thanks, guys. See you next time.
This one's for the firefighters. This one's for the firefighters. Firefighters.